Robert, though the Emancipation Proclamation, which was a presidential decree used as a war tactic by Lincoln, emancipated people, it didn't abolish the legal status of slaves or the state laws establishing slavery. So how did Black activists galvanize their resources to continue the fight for abolition? And who were some of the key players during that time?
One of the things that I'm going to be a broken record about with you guys is to say that we need to begin actually a little bit before 1865, and we probably need to begin again as early as the first sizable free Black populations in the Northeast. And the reason I say that is that we see that the last Northeastern population of Black persons is liberated, if you will, in 1827. But by 1830, you're starting to have what are called colored conventions. And colored conventions are happening all over the country. The first one is in Ohio in 1830. By the time you get to 1890, so really the close of the Reconstruction period, and all through the Civil War, there have been 200 of these conventions. So you're seeing literally thousands of persons using their resources to sue state governments, to assist people trying to reestablish themselves after enslavement, to fight against segregation laws that are developing in a piecemeal fashion all over the country. So it wasn't that there are individuals who are famed for the work that they did. Obviously, someone like Frederick Douglass would be at the center of that. However, there were hundreds of activists, and in fact, thousands of activists around African-American people's civil liberties and around resistance to segregation policies and black codes, they were called, long before the close of slavery for the whole country. So you begin in the 1830s and you see the same population of people being augmented by newly freed people who are struggling against newly developing black codes in former Confederate states, I should say. So it was a big push. Can I just say one other thing about it? And part of the reason I'm so passionate about it
please.
Is that one of the things that W.E.B. Du Bois says to us in his groundbreaking work that you guys should read, Black Reconstruction, is that the way that we talk about the cessation of slavery and the beginning of Reconstruction is that it's something that white folks did for black people. That's a lie. Then the truth of the matter is that you saw the massive amount of activism around the close of slavery and the enactment of black civil rights in this country were happening by black persons. Some of them really recently freed or persons who had taken their freedom. And two, that the reason that he says that the Civil War was won was because you saw a massive general strike on the part of enslaved people who said, you know what, we're not going to feed these Confederate soldiers, and we're not going to plant these crops, and we're going to deal with food shortages and lack of materials ourselves, and we're going to run away at the very first step that we can actually run away. And that is going to do what is going to actually tilt the Civil War in the favor of the Union versus in the favor of the Confederacy. I believe Du Bois on that. And I think that one of the things I want to move away from is that there are very, very special black people who, you know, in 1830, 1840, 1850, 1860, 1870, actually helped to move our community it was that our community, as it does all the time, created people who were figureheads for and leaders of mass organization on the part of both free people and enslaved people before the close of slavery in 1865. If you want me to, I'll stop that, but I'll just say that I wanted to say that you guys are exactly right to talk about the fact that the Emancipation Proclamation is not the thing that ends slavery. The Emancipation Proclamation is the thing that ends slavery in the rebel states. Slavery is ended, I think it's December 6th,
December 18th, 1865.
With the 13th Amendment.
Mm-hmm. I'll talk more about that in a second too.
The 13th Amendment ends enslavement. The 14th Amendment establishes, which is in 1868, establishes citizenship rights for all persons born in the United States. And I just want to talk about that or who are naturalized. And I just want to talk about that for a minute. And the 15th Amendment gives effectively African-American men voting rights. The reason I want to talk about the 14th Amendment, which says that a citizen is a person who is born in the United States, is because the reason for that is that it said that all of these Black persons who were born here, whose grandparents were born here, whose great-grandparents were born here, are in fact citizens, and that any person who is born on this soil is in fact a citizen. I'm livid about Donald Trump and company saying that we're going to struggle against immigrant children who are being born here by parents who are undocumented as citizens. I don't care what the hell they say. This is something that is a right that was secured by our ancestors, our enslaved ancestors. And it is one of the things that makes the United States a beautiful country. Black people should be particularly enraged about it. It's an insult to our people. And the idea that somehow, that if the child is born on this land, as it is an American child and we will care for it, that's a beautiful idea. Right. You know, that is the best of who we are. Why would we not want to get rid of that? I don't care what the kid looks like.